So chapter 1 is all about entrepreneurial perspective. A few objectives we're going to have. There's actually going to be several objective sheets throughout this presentation, but we're going to have, let me qualify it. I really want this to be a discussion with you, not a discussion at you. So if you're watching this, just know that I'm going to try to keep it as condensed as possible because I don't want you to be stuck in some long lecture. But I do want you engaged so you can lay the foundation for not only what entrepreneurship is, but what it means to you. So when defining an entrepreneur and entrepreneurship, an entrepreneur is someone who sees a problem and offers a solution, and they have comfort with taking a risk in providing that solution. They step out there on their own, they take ownership of it, and they say, this is mine. What do you think of it? And that can be very intimidating. There's several different types of careers you can pursue with entrepreneurship. One of the most common, actually, a lot of people think, oh, that means I got to quit my job and go out and start this whole new company. That's not always the case. A lot of major corporations have what they call entrepreneurship, in that they employ people with an entrepreneurial mindset, the people who are constantly looking for solutions to problems are readily employed by major corporations to solve problems for them. The overwhelming majority, though, when we start talking about entrepreneurship, are people who start their own companies. Now, a lot of times they have other jobs, okay? And then the entrepreneurial venture grows to a point that they can step away from their primary job and make the entrepreneurial pursuit their primary position. Entrepreneurs, again, are problem solvers. I love entrepreneurs, both as students, both as colleagues in the business division. I have colleagues that, they'll bring me a problem, but they also bring me a solution. And let me tell you, as someone's supervisor, that is incredible. Always be someone who, yes, you might recognize a problem, but instead of just going to like your supervisor or going to someone, your loved one or whatever, and just say, hey, here's a problem, say, hey, here's a problem, but here's a possible solution. Now, it might not be the solution that is the best, but it at least is a solution. So entrepreneurs are problem solvers. You look at current factors in an economy, and you recognize little issues. You're like, hey, why isn't someone doing this? Maybe that's something I can do. You're constrained by your economy, but as we'll see here in a little bit, you're actually in one of the most powerful economies in the world, in the United States, and it has the most opportunity. So don't think that everything's been thought up. Most entrepreneurs make slight improvements on existing products or services. So, Uber, taxis existed, but they made it more friendly. Airbnb, hotels and rental houses existed, but they made it different. They made it better. So there are a lot of differences in entrepreneurship across the globe. Thank your lucky stars, you're sitting in a country that has a lot of resources. That said, if you're in a place where there's not a ton of resources, that's an opportunity too. So what I want to challenge you is to change your mindset from, hey, I can recognize problems, to, hey, I can recognize problems and solutions. And then as you do that more, I promise you, you'll start to see opportunities that you did not see before. There are several different types of entrepreneurs: innovators, creators, market makers, expanders, and scalers. The first type, innovators, they find new approaches, new methods, new ways of doing things. Airbnb was a new way of doing home rentals. It was an innovative. Uber has run taxi services out of business just about, outside of major municipalities. So creators are someone who makes something new. And a lot of people think that most entrepreneurs are creators. They just come up with something, get a patent, and that's great. I hope you do. If you get a patent, that's the U.S. government saying, hey, you can have a monopoly on this for a while. That's outstanding. If you want to be a gazillionaire, create or destroy a monopoly, and those are creators. Market makers innovate and reinvent their market from the future perspective by asking what the market could evolve into. So this is someone who sees an existing market. The classic example is Circuit City. A lot of you guys won't know Circuit City. Radio Shack. These electronic providers, component providers, television sellers, they were these brick and mortar stores that sold these things, and they didn't realize that their business was dying. A market maker can say, this business is about to change. I'm going to offer it, but online. I'm going to replace the old model. I'm going to creatively destroy. We're going to read a little bit about Schumpeter, who is a German economist, and he's going to talk about creative destruction. The iPhone creatively destroyed the flip phone, for example. Expanders and scalers seek out opportunities to expand upon previously created methods, processes, and products. They can be very, there's a lot of overlap between expanders and scalers and innovators. These guys take something that's already being done and make it a little bit better. During the COVID-19 pandemic and shutdowns and everything, we couldn't get into restaurants, and so restaurants had to adapt, and they started doing curbside takeaway. One of my favorite restaurants of all time never took debit cards, credit cards. And you had to come in and get all the food. Well, guess what? That was no longer an option. You couldn't physically come into the restaurant, and people didn't want to handle cash because they were afraid, that's a good way to exchange germs. And so they had to expand their services and change, adapt or die. A lot of that's entrepreneurship. You have a problem, solve it. So we're going to talk about something called the feature box here. What can you do? How can you put your strengths to work? Well, first of all, you need to know what those strengths are. So I highly suggest you start creating a list. Everybody's like, well, this isn't an assigned thing. Why should I do that? Because now, as we move forward in this course with the business plan, you need to know what you do well. Okay? And that business plan, you're going to state what you do well, and you're going to have to also convince me that you're going to be able to shore up your shortcomings. And if you come to me and say, I have no shortcomings, then I'm not going to believe you. Have a PhD, lots of training, over a decade of business experience, and I'm here to tell you, I'm probably not your accounting guy, all right? Keeping the books. I can sell, I can market, I can manage, I can handle people, I can hire and fire, but I need a bookkeeper. I need someone who's going to shore that up. That's my weakness. I know that. I create a list of my strengths and things related to my strengths and stuff that I can take advantage of, but I need to make sure I'm in businesses that take advantage of that strength. But then no matter what business I'm in, I need to know my weaknesses and how to shore those up. So let's start by creating a list of your strengths. If you're an excellent salesperson, that's good to know. If you're an introvert and you need someone who can be that face of your company, you need to know that too and start planning for it. So we're going to start in this class, our first discussion, which is due Wednesday. I need you to make a list of 100 things that bug you. Yes, 100. I did this in grad school. It's amazing how you get started, how you can start really rolling and get to like 50, and then you really have to think. I want you to dig deep. I want 100 things that bug you, and that's in the discussion forum bug list. I want you to list those out, maybe offer a little bit of thoughts on 2 or 3 of them. And what can you do to resolve, say, those 2 or 3? Are those potential things that you'd like to pursue as an entrepreneurial endeavor? What I would encourage you to do, a lot of people say, hey, you know what, finance looks like you make a lot of money. I'd like to pursue that, but you have no passion for working in a banking situation or trading stock, or you don't have the knowledge base to work in that industry. Pursue something you're passionate about. If you want to make cookies, man. Not only will you be happier doing what you love, but if you can make money doing what you love, that is the jackpot for entrepreneurs. Okay? So what's a problem that you can solve? I'm asking you to come up with 100 problems, and it can be stuff that's just a little annoying. Like one of the things on my 100 bug list is people who chew too loud. I know, but maybe there's an entrepreneurial opportunity there. Maybe I can sell some noise-canceling headphones to people who are annoyed by people who do not know how to chew. What's up with all that smacking? Come on. All right? Well, how can you resolve that problem? So again, in the discussion, give me 100 things that bug you. All right? Keep working. You can do it. You got to dig deep. Give me 2 or 3 of those things you'd like to solve and how. So I taught you're in the U.S. This is awesome. We're number 1 in the world in terms of the most attractive entrepreneurial ventures when we look at gross domestic product. Gross domestic product's all the consuming, investing, government spending, net exports. Your customer could be the government, it could be consumers, it could be people overseas. You are in an economic hotbed for entrepreneurship. Don't act like you're not. You can go down the street right now and start selling Krispy Kremes. Not Krispy Kreme, I sue you, but Trap Club's been doing this for years, selling Chick-fil-A, if you have an agreement with them, a license, and make money hand over fist, okay? You're in a great economy. Use it. In terms of venture capital, we're going to learn a little bit about venture capital. Long story short, it's people who are willing to invest in your business if it's a good idea, if you have a solid business plan. If you develop a solid business plan in here, you might be able to get an investor. We lead the nation. Okay, number of deals and financial value in billions. 72.3 billion. That's billion. Look at that, dude. It's not even close. All right, not even close. All right, so what can you do? I have a tendency to talk a lot in for-profit, and I know I have some people in here that are interested in non-profit. Social entrepreneurship is something you can do as well. Should you want to provide a social good, be it economic disparity, be it environmental, be it educational, social entrepreneurs are very, very vital in our society because, number one, an entrepreneur is someone who solves a problem. And in general, a lot of people are like for-profit. If you're a social entrepreneur, man, you can solve problems that really leave a lasting impact. You want to have a legacy? Solve some social entrepreneurship problems. So if you have any ideas for creating an entrepreneurial venture around the idea of building quality relationships and communities, heavens knows that around our school we could use this type of help. So this might be something that you could bunch up with your senior seminar, with your capstone. Don't be afraid to pursue your capstone in here as well as a business plan. This could help you a lot come your senior year. So how would you balance a passion project with an entrepreneurial purpose? All right. You have to keep that in mind. I've met so many people. I want to do this good. I want to help the homeless. I want to help women. I want to help this. I want to help. And it's awesome. But they don't take the time to lay the foundation to figure out the business end of it, so how they can do that. The only difference between a for-profit corporation or entity, and a non-profit is one tax form. Okay? So keep that in mind. You still need to know how to run a business so you can help the homeless, so you can help battered women, so you can help low-income children. You have to be, so if you want to save the planet, you better know how to run a balance sheet. So what are your visions and goals? Define an entrepreneur, I think that's supposed to be define an entrepreneurial vision and develop a vision statement. This to me is highly personal and it evolves over time. You'll start out pretty crude and it'll be kind of like too long or on just a piece of paper, but I want to know what you're about. And you don't have to share these with me unless you want to in the discussion. What makes you happy? Okay? Let me tell you a little story about me. I worked 10 years in business and sales, and I worked, and I moved up the ladder, and I made every decision based on how much money I could get. And I got to a point where I was doing quite well, very comfortable, not like insane numbers, but just I was doing all right, making more money than I'm making now. But it just didn't jive with who I am. I wanted to be a professor, and that makes me happy. And I readjusted my vision statement, and I really wanted to genuinely install human capital. That means make people smarter so they can make better decisions. I get to meet a variety of people in my life, and you guys, and it's incredible. I get to work with people. You guys keep me young. You tell me what music to listen to, what music not to listen to, how to dress, not to dress. I love it. I love it. So much energy on a college campus, and that's part of my passion. All right, I could have stayed selling pharmaceuticals. All right, and it was a very lucrative career, but it just wasn't my passion. It wasn't my wheelhouse, man. This stuff, I don't know, maybe you disagree. This stuff's my wheelhouse. All right, why? I adjusted what my values were. I sat in front of a mirror and I said, all right, Jonathan, what do you want to be? And you know what? Yes, I'm earning a little less money, but you know what? My schedule's flexible as crazy. I work 9 months out of the year and they pay me for 12. All right. I saw a problem with my existing situation. I offered a different solution. Was it a risk? You bet, man. I walked away from a great paying job, go back to grad school, earning peanuts, no guarantees, 4 years out of the workforce, and now it's paying off because I'm a professor. Let me tell you, let me ask you something. Do you think my quality of life was higher then with more money or higher now? I do all right. I'm not starving or anything. But I love my job. I sleep better. I'm happier. Man, I love this. And it's all because I looked at my vision and my goals and I developed a vision statement. All right, so benefits of mentorship, and I'm your mentor here, but I really want you to reach out to other professors, to friends, to family, people who are in the businesses that you're interested in already being in, and develop a mentorship, develop a board of directors, if you will. They're good for coaching and training. Excellent for motivation and support. I'm there for you as much as I can be, but if you want to know exactly what time you need to put some brownies in an oven to have them ready for a 9 o'clock order, I'm not your guy. So you can have people who can support you. I'll motivate you as best I can. It's good to have people who are in the know in your industry in advice and direction, and then people who push you to stretch your goals and achievements. Okay? Always find ways to be getting better. All right? Mentor. Finding a mentor is so valuable. I have mentors in education and being a professor. I have mentors in business. My wife has mentors in terms of her business. And it's incredible. If you have a problem, you can call someone who's been there and they can help you. All right, so are you ready? Let's do a personal vision statement. I'll ask you to do this on your own. You can post it in the discussion if you'd like. Where are you living? What you doing for a living? What does your home look like? Who lives in your home? What are you doing with your life? This is kind of a static screenshot, if you will, of your current situation. So where you are and where you want to be. All right. What are your goals and what's your vision to get there? What is your 5-year plan? All right. There's 4 steps to creative thinking process. We're going to talk a lot about creativity. I have a whole chapter on it in here. We have preparation, plan and gather information. So if you're interested in starting a bakery, or you're interested in starting a nonprofit, you need to gain information about your how many people you could serve, where you'd like to locate, what's the rent there. Pick the brains of people who are doing this. You wouldn't believe, as long as you're not trying to open up shop right next door to them, you won't believe how much an entrepreneur will share with you, because they're desperate for that conversation. They're passionate people, and you're passionate too if you're in this class, and they would love to share with you. So find your mentor that can help you plan and gather information. Then you got to let things incubate. I'm not sure this is an actual representation of the brain. I'm not sure what part of the brain does that, whether it's over here or not. But incubation is let your subconscious work through information. Okay. I actually like to do this. I get a lot of great ideas. I have stuff that'll be in my head, and I'll be sitting here working, and I can't get anything to process, and I'll go for a run, and it incubates, and I'm done running. I'm like, oh, I should just do this. All right. Illumination, identifying the aha moments, that happens, man. The more you think about it, sometimes you kind of have to get out of yourself, like say, get outside, do something different. You'll have an aha moment. Maybe, this is a good industry. It's been done this way. Perhaps it could be done this way. Aha. All right. And then verification. You have to test and implement. Sometimes your ideas on paper look great. Sometimes in your head they look great. And then in execution they fall flat. And it could be, how you execute it, or it could be the idea itself. Let me go ahead and give you one bit of advice. A lot of people's like, hey, I have this great idea, but I can't share it because I don't want anybody to steal it. It's not going to work. I can tell you right now, in all my experience, that's not going to work. Okay? You have to be able to share your ideas. Why? Because you have to share it with the people who are potentially your customers. You need to be able to get feedback. If your customers are potentially college students, talk with college students. If they're people over 70, talk with people over 70, socially distanced. You need to get feedback. If they're for toddlers, talk to toddlers, but don't be weird about it. Make sure you ask their parents first. All right? You need verification. So, creativity through a change in routine. I would ask you to do something different this week, okay? If you're sitting here and you're in your chair, your favorite chair, and you're watching your laptop, watching this video or something, I want you to get up. I want you to go outside if the weather's permitting, and I want you to do something different. I want you to get outside of yourself. I want you to go to a park bench you've never been to and sit down and think about your problem. It's amazing what the change in environment can do in terms of ideation. Okay, we're going to talk about that. Then note what that experience was like. All right, it may have stunk. It may not have been very good, or it may have been very helpful. You need to establish a routine that's different than your current routines. Okay, it could be going to a coffee shop, ordering a latte and a bagel, and just sitting there and watching people. All right. Did you notice if you do these things, start notice around your surroundings, see if anything changes. Get creative. Get outside of the box. I hate that type of language, but sometimes you just have to get outside of yourself. All right. If you're looking to sell something on campus, go to a place on campus that might be a great spot for you to do that, and just watch people. Okay. There's a reason why the Entrepreneurship Club for several years sold Chick-fil-A where they sold it. We tried it in front of Walker, and we got better numbers than Ellis, and we started doing the math on it, and we located in a specific situation because, well, we sat there and watched people and watched the traffic flow. That might be something to consider. All right, so what should your goals be? Well, your goals should be SMART. Well, duh. No, I mean literally SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. I'm going to hold you to this in this course. When you set a goal, it's like, hey, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, that's kind of specific, but how? All right. Measurable. How are you going to get there? What are your steps? You want to make $100,000 this year? $10,000. What's it going to be next year? What's it going to be a year after that? Achievable. Okay, I'm going to be a millionaire, but I'm going to sell lemonade outside Target. That's not going to work. Okay. Just do the math on it. It'd take forever. Relevant. Is it relevant to some of those strengths that we were talking about before? Are your goals relevant to what your vision is? Okay. If you start to see those things align, holy smokes, not only will your overall life satisfaction go up, but in terms of your goals, you'll start achieving more. And timely, okay? What you're trying to achieve, does it fit a realistic timeline? Okay. So I always want to look for goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, timely. SMART goals. So it's time to get in that entrepreneurial mindset. Explain what it means to have an entrepreneurial mindset. Not me, you. Entrepreneur, remember, is someone who solves problems. What type of problems do you want to solve? And how do you get yourself into a habit? How do you break a bad habit of not thinking about it? How do you establish a good habit? Is it getting up early? Is it staying up late? What is it? What problems are you passionate about? And what potential solutions, given your strengths and your vision, can you possibly address them with? That's the entrepreneurial mindset. Problem, solution, and you'll be much happier for solving problems that you're passionate about. All right? Describe what it's meant to be an entrepreneurial spirit, passion. So I hope you can tell I have a passion, number one, for teaching this. I have a passion, number two, for actually doing this. But I am looking forward to watching you guys do this. So I've been an entrepreneur. I'm teaching entrepreneurship, and now I get to watch you do entrepreneurship. So I want you to have that mindset, constantly looking for problems and possible solutions, doing some feasibility analysis. Like I said, you're gonna fail. Okay, that's entrepreneurship. The only failure in entrepreneurship is the failure to learn. So find something you're passionate about, a problem you really want to solve, and chase it. Chase that solution and figure out how you can make money off of it, or figure out how you can make enough money to help people off of it. Everybody's like, oh, I want to be a social entrepreneur. I'm not about money. One tax form. The difference between a for-profit and nonprofit, one tax form. You still got to run it like a business. All right. It's just what you do with that money afterwards that changes. Okay. So you got to be able to run a business. We're establishing the foundation. Chapter 1. Make sure you do the reading. Make sure you get in the discussion. All right. Make sure you're watching the videos. And I hope you've enjoyed it. Man, we've got like 14 more chapters. Can't wait. Looking forward to working with you this semester. Keep coming back.